Hey guys, so the last year and a half we've heard a lot of things from those who hate us, a lot of things from anti-Semites, a lot of things from those who hate Israel, and one of the things, the most common things that I've heard is that we are, occupiers, we are thieves, we are not indigenous to the land of Israel, we are from Poland, we are from, another planet, whatever, right? That's what you hear, guys. And my friends, my purpose here in this video is not to answer them. My purpose is to clarify something for you in the event that you either these words fill you with doubt about really who you are and what is your land really, or to just strengthen you or give you a little bit of history and a little bit of perspective on who we are as a nation. My friends, today is the 10th of Tevet, the 10th day of the month of Tevet on the Hebrew calendar. What is the 10th of Tevet? The 10th of Tevet is the day where many Jews fast. When I say many, I'm talking about millions. Not most of Jews, but a lot of Jews fast in commemoration of the destruction of the first temple in Jerusalem by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Folks, for those of you who don't know, and now you will know, we had two temples. The first temple, and then some hundreds of years later, the second temple. The first temple was built by King Solomon. You're talking 3,000-ish years ago. 2.5 to 3,000-ish years ago, guys. I don't have the exact dates, Maybe my historian friends or my Jewish history friends can fill in the gaps. But the point is, guys, we had a first temple. And by the way, any Jew you meet today whose family, repatriated Israel from Yemen, they were exiled from Israel to Yemen after the first temple. Unlike everybody else who were exiled after the second temple. Right? So they were exiled after the first temple. And I think there was some other, what's called Romaniot, like Greek Jews in Greece who left Israel and after the first temple and ended up in certain parts of Greece. So my friends, this fast that we're commemorating was instituted by our sages. If I'm not mistaken, it could be at that time, right after the destruction of the first temple. For sure, it would have been in the second century or the first century when the fasts were instituted. For what? Not only the destruction of the first temple, but to commemorate the destruction of the second temple as well, which was on the 9th of Av, right? Started on the 17th of Tammuz and the 9th of Av. That was the second. Destruction of both temples was on the 9th of Av. The breach of the walls, I'm very sorry guys, I misspoke. The breach of the walls of the first temple happened on the 10th of Tevet. So basically, from the 10th of Tevet until the 9th of Av was the process of destroying the first temple. At whenever this was, 3,000 years ago. And it's interesting, right? Both temples, guys, were destroyed on the same day in the Jewish calendar, the 9th of Av, just obviously different years. Not only that, we had on the ninth of Av. We had a bunch of other things, right? Expulsion of the Jews from Spain, 1492. We had the planning of the Holocaust. I believe it's Auschwitz. But a lot of things that happened on the ninth of Av. A ton of things in Jewish history. Tragedies. So guys, what's the point here? The point is, even if you don't fast on this day, it's what's called a minor fast on the Hebrew calendar. Even if you come to me and you say, well, see, I'm not religious. I may not even, I may be even being an atheist, but for sure, even if I believe in God, I don't fast on this day. I go to, on Pesach. There's people go, they have Pesach Seders, they go for Yom Kippur, maybe Rosh Hashanah, kind of like I used to be back in the day. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Pesach Jew, not a Shabbos, not a kosher person. I didn't celebrate Sukkot. I didn't celebrate, maybe Hanukkah. Obviously, it's my birthday, and it's a very public holiday, right? So Purim, I never wasn't so keen on that, my friends. So if you come and tell me you're that kind of Jew, but friends, it doesn't matter, right? Because up until what they call the Enlightenment period, every single Jew fasted, with the exception of like pregnant women and people who just couldn't fast. Every single Jew fasted on this day, on the 10th of Tevet. Every Jew on God's green earth fasted on this day, right? And today, guys, there's 15 million Jews on planet Earth. I think 2 or 3 million, let's say 2 safely, fast on this day, right? That's still a lot of people. My friends, the point is that this is something, even if you don't believe in God, even if you're an atheist or you're just not super observant, this is something called a theo-historical day. It's a day that commemorates a historical event with spiritual and theological implications that connects us historically, physically, geographically, anthropologically to the land of Israel, to Jerusalem. Folks, this is undeniable. This is why they have to come and say, oh, you guys are from Poland, you guys are from wherever, the moon, you guys are, thieves. By the way, guys, we all know, some of us know, that the first commentary on the Torah by Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, aka Rashi, basically where he says, and he brings it from what's called a midrash. He says, why was the first what is it called? Why did the Torah start with the creation of the world, like the creation of earth, creation of physicality, of physical earth? And why didn't it start with Rosh Chodesh, right? Why did it start with the creation of the world? Because, and it says, the nations of the world will come and say that the Jewish people are thieves of the land of Israel. Folks, I mean, hello? And the whole idea is that it's our land. Why? Because Hashem gave it to us. Because Hashem created it, and He can give it to whomever He wants. Now, there's an argument. What do you mean? How presumptuous to say that it's us? But folks, if we were told to go there, if we know from the Torah that Abraham Avinu was told to go there by God, and in the text says, this is the land that I will show you, go to the land that I will show you, and the Jewish people are the only people that conquered any land because God told them to conquer, not because they want to conquer, right? Like Islam, like some other people we know, just because they want to spread Islam and conquer in order to spread Islam, and then if it's reconquered, it's still theirs or whatever it is. My friends, by the way, where do you think they got that from? But it's only the land of Israel, guys. You notice, the Jewish people never militarily conquered any other land besides the land of Israel that was and the parts of the land of Israel that were allotted to us in the Torah, in the Tanakh. Whether we did it deliberately at the times of the Tanakh, or we did it by quote unquote accident when Hashem just gifted certain things to us. And you see, we're still trying to give it back. That's also why they think we're thieves, because we're willing to. Speaking of King Solomon, it goes back to the famous story of two women that came to King Solomon with a baby. One says it's my baby, the other says my baby, and the one that was said, well, let's split the baby in half. King Solomon says, oh, I know that's not your baby because you're willing to split that baby in half. My friends, our enemies are now saying this because they saw that we, well, it's not really we, it's a bunch of Erev that lead us, were willing to split the land in half. Even after defeating the enemies, even after capturing Judea and Samaria and the Golan Heights and all the rest of it. My friends, so today is a day that points to the fact that we fast on this day, commemorating the destruction of not the second temple, but the first temple, or the breach of the first temple, which was eventually destroyed on the 9th of Av. And the fact that we've been doing this, my friends, for almost 3,000 years, points to the fact that we are indigenous to the land of Israel, that Jerusalem is our capital, that we had a temple there. We had one temple, we had the second temple. We have for sure evidence of second temple. We even have stuff from the first temple period, artifacts, okay? We have that as well. And there's no denying it, folks. So listen, I'm not here to talk to these people, the ones that say that we're from Poland and we're from the moon and from wherever else we are, even though the people in Poland told us to go back to Israel when they were harassing us and killing us, right? All the people where these people claim that we're from, their friends or their would-be allies, when they beat us and they killed us, told us to go back to where we are now, which is Israel, right? Folks, so it just goes to show there's no point to talk to them, because they're just happy to pinball us around the world, right? Pinball us back and forth. They don't really, they just want us dead, really. They don't really care. They don't want us to leave. They want us to die, right? It's like, what's his name? Goldfinger from James Bond, or Dr. Evil. I want you to die, Mr. Bond, okay? So, I'm talking to my Jewish brothers and sisters, so that you understand and just know and be strengthened by the fact that we've been commemorating. We have all of these dates on our calendars that commemorate events or commemorate places that have to do with the fact that we are from Israel. My friends, even Purim, right? Even though it was the Jews were in Persia, the Jews of Persia, there were Jews all over the world, in however many 127 provinces, including Israel. There were. And other places all over the world, right? So, and we celebrate, the day when, Haman wanted to destroy us physically. My friends, Hanukkah. We just had Hanukkah. Celebrating the commemoration of the temple in Jerusalem, when we beat back the Greeks. Where were the battles? In Judea and Samaria. We have evidence, physical evidence, archaeological evidence of these battles, of these places, of these strongholds, the military strongholds. Guys, everything revolves around us being in the land of Israel. There's no doubt about it. There's no issues here. So, my friends, the 10th of Tevet, probably the oldest fast, the day that refers to that points to the oldest day, or the longest standing day of commemoration in our history, pointing directly to Jerusalem and the temple in Jerusalem. So, B'ezrat Hashem, my friends, soon we will have the next holiday coming up is something called Tu B'Shvat, That's next month. In a month, where things start to bloom. Where? In the land of Israel. It's centered around when, I guess, unless you want to call it climate-wise, meteorologically, when things normally start to bloom in the land of Israel. And we know from our sages that Tu B'Shvat is one of the new years, 4 new years of the year. It's called the New Year for trees. There's the New Year for the beasts, for the animals. There's the New Year for trees. And then there's also Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is one of the New Years, and then there's Rosh Hashanah. Sorry, the New Year for the beast is Rosh Chodesh Elul, and then New Year for us is Rosh Hashanah, and then the other New Year, so to speak, is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and then the 4th New Year is Tu B'Shvat, which is in a month, 15th Shvat. My friends, this all revolves around the land of Israel. How things run, the calendar, the land, it's all together. There's no distinction. Just like with the temples, we brought, what is it called? Sacrifices to the temple. We brought donations to the temple at certain times of the year. Sukkot, my friends, Sukkot has to do with the temple. Pesach has to do with the temple. Shavuot has to do with the temple. So my friends, if you see a picture of Barack Hussein Obama sitting, having his presidential Pesach Seder, it's connected to Jerusalem. He wants us to go back to 67 lines, right? When we didn't have the old city was occupied by the Jordanians. It's connected to the old city of Jerusalem, and in particular the Temple Mount. My friends, what are we talking about here? So, I'll wrap it up. I'm rambling too long. Don't answer these people. Just know what I told you. And be strengthened by that. Alright guys, for those of you fasting, have a good fast, a meaningful, easy fast. And, and it's the last, this Shabbat is the last Parsha, the last Torah portion of Bereshit, or Genesis. So we close the chapter of the family that would become the Jewish people. Rather than that, we didn't close it. We close this chapter, and now begins the chapter. Next week begins the chapter of Moses, of Moshe Rabbeinu in Egypt, and the Pharaoh that did not know Yosef. Yosef is I think in this parsha he's buried. He's taken from Egypt to a place called Shechem, which today they call Nablus. My friends, we have his grave over there. We have it. We schlepped it from Egypt. And on Saturday night we begin already the parsha of what they call Exodus, or Shmot, the book of Shmot, which really means names, which refers to the family that will become the Jewish people, the names of the people. But we also hear about our impending redemption. All right? B'ezrat Hashem, guys. Very soon. Peace.